Damas y caballeros, esto será un cuento comunitario. Javier va a leer el epígrafo y el envoy. Un aplauso para Javier.
¡Brava!
Diana va a leer La voz del bosque, un espíritu. Un aplauso para Diana. Nuestra amiga, compañera Mabel va a leer La voz del fuero interior. El protagonista, el monólogo. Un aplauso. Tremendo para Mabel. Y mi compañero aquí, Noah, va a narrar el cuento. Y yo también voy a leer un poco.
¡Bravo!
Iván, el único contexto que hace falta saber es que se trata de un guerrero medieval que se escapó durante la guerra. Es un janissary y pertenecía a la casta militar de los otomanes. Pero cuando invadieron a Constantinopla, su pueblo, decidió abandonar. Y ahora está encontrando su hogar, su casa, de donde lo raptaron de niño. Entonces, se llama a Sylph sketched. A Sylph sketched.
If you want her to leave, she will. If you want her to stay, she'll stay. Still.
Every day, the journey gets harder for the runaway. The hares here are fast, the berries too sour, and worse, he is being eaten alive. Maggots claim the wound in his groin. Now, the once swift flee through the forest slow to an excruciating crawl with many stops. The runaway groans.
Alas, 14 days and 14 nights into his escape, he is ready to admit, I am lost. He even contemplates suicide, putting the sharp edge of his dagger to the cap of scab, pus, and bugs between his left leg and pubis. The infected parts are lobbed off without a flinch. Strange, the familiar iron begins to feel foreign in his hand, wet with blood. The coast is far, as well as any road. He knew to run northwest until he stopped hearing Turkish, and then continue north until he stopped hearing Bulgarian. Until now, he has survived everything. His parents giving him up as blood tax at age 3, the bearded Muslim who circumcised him at age 7, the Pasha who taught him martial arts, the Sultan he swore to protect, the now dead captain who axed him when he learned of his plan to defect. No, what will kill him is his freedom. Too bad he has wasted it on the run, lost in this Thracian wood between hell and home.
Above him moonlight tides, and his knees unfold, a flash of lighting heights, an nearby nymphed in gold.
She cast a spell.
Óiganme, queridos Plutón, Lucé y Javier. Sálvenle a este su hijo sincero.
He doesn't know what she means, but he wants to hear more. He doesn't believe in magic, and yet his pus-rankled groin heals. Next, the bent blade flies into her hands and is wiped clean, as the wind fells trees, founds a glade. She sings and chants.
Mórbida triste soy, libre, feliz seré. Ceniza, tu sangre devuelvo. Sí, devuelvo aún lo perdido.
The runaway holds his weapon for the last time. He cuts the last vestige of a time going by, his mustache. He vows to not harm another again, including himself. He thanks her for saving him, the Sylph, whatever she is. Her voice and body have vanished, like the smoke of a candle, where only the wick remains, burned and blossomed, their promising return.
And the Sylph does return, with every draft and breeze, for as quick an encounter to inspire. Meanwhile, the baby turned slave, turned janissary, turned runaway, turned hermit, inaugurates the next stage of his life with the construction of a chapel. It is built from birchen trees and shattered dreams, When the hermit isn't running bark with calloused hands, he is trading his good health with faraway villagers, hunting, healing, praying for them, and teaching those who dare to learn to read anything his aging body can offer for nails, rope, and ink. The night he contemplates the porch rails, he steps inside. The smell of sage and sound hanging shells cleanse the scene. She watches him from apse, pleased with pagan demigoddess with two loving eyes.
Every Monday the Sylph comes alive, and with his arms asunder, in and out from under, he worships her, works for her, believes work is worship to her.
I hear an astral voice from afar. I can't answer, can't speak to a star. Then I hear a river heading north, and my devoted seed flows forth.
Ella, como le encanta, le canta.
La nube a chorro se corre, detrás de la luna en llanto. Mi roce te cubre la torre, quién sabe por cuánto aguanto.
Lanza otro canto, hechizo.
De Compostela partí, cruzando el camino. Sobre rodillas sufrí, buscando lo divino.
He starts to understand. One day, she crawled off the path, turning left instead of right. Her soul then expired, her spirit renewed. She caresses him, as if agreeing. She asks, "What about you?" The hermit freezes, then recalls. He recalls the Theodosian walls of old Constantinople, the ones he was tasked to destroy. How they fell to Hungarian fire, how he defected, no excuses. In more detail, however, he tells of the mother who traded her child for a sack of apples of unequal weight. There was a blood moon eclipse that night, he says, remembering. Then explains, the holy place you sought no longer exists. I lit the cannon that destroyed it. She nods, sad. She must go, again, and rushes away. Understanding here stops.
Indian merchants in a caravan carrying crates of blank manuscripts approach the chapel. They applaud the surrounding town for its growth. Little do they know of the 24 years it took to form, but neither do they care to learn. In that time, travelers, misfits, ghouls, and jokers birthed a generation, then another, turning a hamlet into a village into a town.
Oh, Sylph sketched, your sex was my comparison, 1,000 times plus one. Today you bear me under a Carpathian tone. Please turn around. Please come home. Meanwhile, everybody here knows of the old man who founded the place. Because of the respect paid by the youngest sons and daughters, they call him the father. They may not have seen his lady, the Sylph, but they believe him when he claims she saved him. So saved him, she did. For how else can one explain the stacks of paper he piles and dedicates to her, his ya in one language, ella in another? Here I am, he howls at night, scaring children awake all night. He thinks of her enchanting, but for a time she has stopped demanding. Soon his alcove goes silent, save for an image disquiet.
Hablar, Genisa, no puedo. No me cuentes más tus cuentos. Mañana tu boca me llevo, en otra página nos vemos.
A boy and his pup dash into the chapel, screaming, disturbed. Draco a morir, he cries. It's over the infamous impaler up north, the only king bold enough to halt the invaders. He's dead. Ce facem, părinte? The old man leans away from his desk. The moon, seen through a hole, is rising. Everything else is invisible. He wonders if anybody knows that in everybody's lifetime, many seismic shifts occur. He realizes that before the Sylph, he had not believed in much. Now he believes in all, including one who saved him. Back there, when he was dying, there is no denying, no doubt, just wind over earth and heart. He decides not to lament the unstable absence, and instead he stands tall. The boy does not hesitate to pass him his cane. They both smile, one more nervously than the other more serious than the first, and the mutt barks alive. That scar on his groin, like re-sharpened steel, again does burn. Both he and the boy step out and breathe in the fresh autumn prelude of a storm rolling in, giving way to a draft and a breeze that carry many names. As soon as she returns, he will pick up that journey he long ago dropped. He has rested enough, he ponders. He remembers home.
Where you need him to be, he'll be. Where you need him to do, he'll do. See?
Wow.